Hello, 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 everyone in Facebook world, all my Wally kits and Wally cats, all my kit and caboodles. I am a host, Blue Waters. This is Be Exposed Radio, and this is the Cocktail Social. I hope everyone enjoyed their Thanksgiving holiday. Hello, socialites.
Yo,
Wait a minute, Miss Mizell, is you still? Are you there?
Unmute yourself.
I didn't know I was muted. Maddie, coming to you live from the car.
You still muted.
There you go. How was your holidays, everyone?
I ain't do a goddamn thing. I didn't cook shit. I didn't do nothing. I went and picked up a plate from my parents' house and kept that shit moving.
Okay. Mr. Gilmore.
Shit, I'm like the old girl from fucking Waiting to Exhale. I cook. I cook. I took some of every goddamn thing. Gloria is my spirit animal. I had a good time. It was real chill.
Fucking had possum meat.
Nate, what did you do?
And some gravy and onions is pretty damn good.
And gravy and onions make anything taste better.
I just chilled. I cooked a little bit. I didn't cook like a normal Thanksgiving dinner. I just cooked a little meal, little something. Mm-hmm. But I didn't really, and I just hung out with my friend on our duo all day, and we talked.
Okay. If you are joining us for the Cocktail Social, remember, socialites, share this out if you can. If you are joining us for the Cocktail Social, this is the Friday night happy hour. This is where adults have adult conversation, so you're liable to hear any and every damn thing. And we are about to get into it. So, first of all, I want to say I'm praying for our newly elected mayor that he recovers. He's currently quarantining. He may have been exposed to the COVID virus, so I'm hoping that he recovers. So, Mayor Scott, I hope that you are taking care of yourself, get you some zinc, get you some vitamin C, drink your fluids, and take care of yourself. So I hope that for a speedy recovery, and I hope that everyone that is watching, that you're doing everything that you can do to stay COVID-free, and if not, get tested as soon as possible so that you know where you are with things. My prayers are to you, and hope that you return soon. Thanksgiving. Woo! It's past, and we're on to I don't celebrate Thanksgiving. I do Friendsgiving. So I always have individuals over the Saturday after Thanksgiving. And so I had a few people over. I had about a good 20 people. Would you say?
He is lying. It was not no 20 people in there.
It wasn't?
No, it wasn't. Because if it was 20 people in there, my ass wouldn't have been in there.
Well, you came later.
Yeah. Oh, you came later.
Yeah, so you came later. But see, I did it that way. I had people cycle in and cycle out. And so that's why, and then I opened the backyard up. So people could be spread out. But it was good. The turkey did not last throughout the night. It was mold. It was definitely killed the second time.
I'm gonna say peek, 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 peek. Only the 30 or 40 and over really know what the hell I'm talking about.
Oh my God, I heard that in a minute.
So I'm gonna tell you, as Joe was carving the turkey, he was taking slivers of it. So it was one for me, one for you, one for me, one for you. And I had to kind of go in there and say, stop! You eating all the goddamn turkey. It was I brined my turkey for I want to say about 24 hours or more, and it was nice and juicy. And I think next year I'm going to look into frying a turkey. Everyone's talking about smoking turkey and frying a turkey. I'm going to try fried turkey. So
smoked turkey is everything.
I haven't tried the fried turkey or smoked turkey.
Oh, the
well,
smoked
I'm not
turkey
going to fry it myself because I don't want a propane. First of all, where I live in my neighborhood, a propane tank will take this whole neighborhood out.
Get out my head, Christy. That's what I was thinking.
What you say, Chris?
Some black charred toothpicks.
What you say, Miss Mizell?
I say all the houses made out of toothpicks.
Let me tell you something.
Highly flammable.
Like it would literally look like someone dropped a bomb on this neighborhood because it would literally wipe out every house in this area. So I'm not going to do any frying of any turkeys next year in my neighborhood. I'll find someone else who knows what they're doing, but I want to try it out. So
whatchamacallit up at whatchamacallit at Flight, they do them.
Oh, really?
You just go pick them up.
I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think Popeyes do one too.
Theirs is more, they do a fried one, but it's not traditional. I don't think they traditionally fry it. I think theirs is more brined and then like smoked.
Okay.
It don't taste like a regular fried. Well, it don't taste like a regular fried turkey.
I don't know. Fried turkey just didn't get me off the way it seemed to be getting everybody else going. It was good.
And that smoked turkey, like I said, that smoked
turkey had me sitting there. Yeah. That smoked turkey, shit.
Because it's turkey. It's turkey, but it tastes like ham.
Yeah, because you gotta brine it and make sure it's seasoned.
You said a ham turkey.
They don't brine it.
That turkey be good. I love fucking turkey.
So it'll be
hell yeah, especially if you get that wingtip. That wingtip is saying everything with that smoke on it.
That's where all the excess smoke go to, the wings.
Right on that tip. Right on the tip.
Well, I do know that brining it is the answer. Yeah. I don't know. That's the way to go for me.
Last year, I did brine my turkey because I got stuck with that 25-pound turkey.
Right.
And so I had to cook it, and I brined it for like probably a little over 24 hours or so. Mm-hmm. And I mean, it was really, really good because usually when you get big turkeys, sometimes they tend to dry out on you.
Right.
But because I like kind of marinated it first, it turned out really, really good. It was too big for us to finish. I ended up throwing like damn near half of it away, but
shit, I'd have made turkey salad like a bitch out of that thing because my turkey salad was on fire this year. I said I fried them a goddamn self.
I didn't even get a chance to. Like it was ridiculous. That a 25-pound turkey. It was like a fucking toddler in my sink when I was trying to.
Should have called me over. I fucking love turkey. Shit.
I wish I had known. It was
made turkey soup, turkey salad.
Turkey, I don't like soup. I don't like nobody's soup.
No, I
don't like soup.
Oh shit! I made a baked potato soup the other day. That thing was all that, then some.
Mm-hmm. You put cream in yours?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cream and now I don't eat regular bacon. So what I did was I got some turkey ham and chopped it up into little teeny cubes, and I fried it until it got kind of hard or whatever.
Christy, I got you a pack of beef bacon. I'm glad you said that shit.
All right, I'm gonna try that.
You can't even eat it. Never mind. I ain't gonna give it to you because you already got the meat sweats.
Yeah, bitch, look, the other day I made a pot roast. And you know, I pretty much been like kind of like chilling on the red meat tip. Man, I made a pot roast. Oh, it was real fucking good.
Was it tender?
That night, it was tender. It was quite scrumptious.
Mm-hmm.
But the meat
sweats
that come along with that goddamn pot roast, I ain't gonna be able to do it no more. I ain't gonna be able to do it. I had the meat sweats.
I fucking love moo cow. Give me that moo cow served up in. Love
it.
I like it temporarily.
I made about 6 pounds of that. I made like 6 pounds of pot roast.
And that's what the fucking problem is. Y'all was sitting around eating 6 pounds of goddamn pot roast.
No, I mean we was we had our regular portions and all, but I'm telling you, like, if you don't eat red meat for a long time,
Christy,
and then you go back to try to eat it,
you have made me a plate before. I know what your portions look like.
But it helps.
Your body just don't digest it if you ain't had it in a while. Yeah, your body gotta get used to digesting it if you ain't had it in a while.
Sorry, y'all. Mizell cook like Big Mama. I love it.
Well, you could have came and got some of that goddamn pot roast. It might be still some in there if my baby ain't get to it. But you can have that shit because I had the sweats for the last 3 days. I ain't gonna be able to do it.
I told you I got a New York strip roast in the freezer. I got a New York strip roast in the freezer that I got to cook.
I ain't even know New York strip came in a roast.
You cut it and you cut it like steaks. Yeah, go ahead, Blue, break it up because it's an old hen meeting right now.
Oh no, that's all. That's all good. That's
Blue,
all
what you
good.
put in your gravy?
Right.
And kisses, hugs and kisses.
Blue make a good at y'all in the world. Listen, Blue make a good ass pot of greens. Let me tell you. He gave me that damn plate of green. I almost slapped the shit out of him because they was too.
Man, Blue, I was so upset that I couldn't come over because I was dealing with a little bit of drama, a little bit. I'll tell you about that later because I ain't trying to put my business out there. But I was dealing with a little bit of drama, and so I couldn't make it. But I was mad as hell because I was like, I wanted some greens and some stuffing bad as hell.
And I ain't know about it. See, I wasn't even. At least you was invited, so.
No, it wasn't that. No.
Until that morning. I just found out that morning or that afternoon. When I called you, I had just got off the phone with Blue. Right, like 20 minutes before that.
Honestly, I didn't invite a lot of people only because I was being conscientious of people and their whole dealing with the pandemic. I know that during the whole coronavirus, and I know my parties can get a little bit thick. So this year, I only invited my sister, my direct family. So it was just really the family and everything like that. I had Nate around the corner. But aside from that, it was probably, even my best friend didn't show up. And me and my best friend is thick as thieves. So she didn't show up. She was quarantining. I was trying to make it where as though I was being conscious. I've been stubborn during this whole, I'm gonna be honest, I've been absolutely oppositional during this whole Corona shit. I have not given a flying fuck about this COVID situation. So I'm like, you know what? I'm a party. I'm gonna do me until it start hitting like where I work at. And you know what? I'm not going to chance having a whole lot of people over. Not because I think that they're going to bring anything, but I don't even want to put them in harm's way in any way, shape, and form. So for my tribe, I'm going to do something for us outside of that. But I wanted everybody to be with their families. I wanted everybody to be safe. And so for my sister, because it's our tradition to do every other holiday. So this is her tradition this is my year to do Thanksgiving, her year to do Christmas. And I didn't want to rob them of it. My niece actually held Thanksgiving at her house.
That's cool.
I went down there. This is her first house. This was her first Thanksgiving. She made too much damn food. There was only 4 of us there.
I think all of us do that.
You supposed to shit is Thanksgiving.
It was it was just the family. And then on that Saturday, I told my sister and my niece to come over here. I cooked. They had their families. They brought some of their friends with them, and that was that. Nate, when he was here, it was a culture shock for him. Coming to my house is always a culture shock. You know, Nikki, Mizell, and Mr. Gilmore, my best girlfriend. who has no filter. And so he was a direct victim of Miss Nikki.
We were having a conversation, I think, because it was just so little of us. It was just the three of us basically talking. So it just pointed at me. I don't feel like I was victimized. Like she gave me the two fingers with no Vaseline, but it was just
it was candid.
interesting.
And it was raw. And I think it was definitely candid. So you can talk about that, Mr. Nate, your experience. I won't say. I will. No,
it wasn't an experience. Something I've had to realize as I've gotten older. I'm not a secretive person. It's just I was raised by older women, so it's just certain things that you don't talk about, and certain things that you don't make public knowledge. And who I sleep with, or what my sexual appetite is, and how I like it, or how I do it, and how it goes down. All those things are things that I love. I'm open to hearing other people talk about it. I just never really add my 2 cents unless I'm asked a question. But the questions were very, very, very open, very direct, and very
suggestive.
So they weren't suggestive. They were very on the point. But it was just it goes for me. I don't talk about it. So when people normally ask me questions, it's because people have a thought in their mind about who they think I am, or they don't know what to think. Because I just never talk about it. So you don't know where I stand. And that's how Bleu has stated it. People don't know where you stand with certain things. So they either draw their own conclusions, or they're so curious that they just ask you direct questions. And that's always happened to me. But I just know it comes from me not openly talking about it. It's not an embarrassment. It's not uncomfortable. But unless we about to get the boogie going, like...
It's none of your motherfucking business. It's none of your business.
So are we going to your place or mine, or we going to this hotel? We going to be adventurous in the park? Like, what we going to do? Because that's why I think you asking me. But
I think that's what I fuck with my little tribe so much on, is that we can talk about all this shit. It don't mean one way or the other. We can just have a fucking conversation and move on. It could literally go from collard greens to whose dick smell the best, and then talk about something else. And it's like none of this shit, like nobody really... I mean, we got a little side joke with the band when we call ourselves sexual harassment, because we do have some wild fucking conversations, and it just is what it is.
But it's gotten to a point where people just want to know. People just want to know, and it's okay with wanting to know. I'm all for it. I just think, for me, it's certain things that are off limits. Like, unless you're my partner, I don't really feel the need to go into complete detail. But I get it.
And you know what? And I think that was okay. So for me, I know that, again, when I was being sexually ambiguous, that's when people raised the most questions, because they were left with assumptions. So they didn't know how to navigate conversations with me. So because they didn't know what to assume. So they questioned whether I was gay. They questioned whether I was straight. They questioned who I liked, who I didn't like. And so that made them kind of say, well, I don't know what he'll be comfortable with. Well, when they realized that I was a fucking freak and I like everything, then it was like, well, you know what? But that wasn't until I became comfortable with myself. The reality
is... Do you remember the first question I asked you? Do you remember the first question I asked you?
I do not, because that was so long ago and I did a lot of drugs.
We was at the bar, and Michelle had invited me out some fucking way. And we were talking, and I looked at you, I said, I wish I had your gap, because I bet you eat a mean pussy. And we talked for 35 minutes with the bartender included on eating pussy. It was the best conversation ever. Shit. And you taught me a trick too, and I used it on a chick that night, and it worked.
You know what? And the funny thing is, now Michelle, my best friend, who is on vacation, hate you for that.
Right.
No, but yeah,
I told her no adventures.
yeah, I said the same thing. I said, please
Shit.
don't come back with no
stories.
stories about no traumas.
Right.
But so because Michelle knows me and she's known me for so long, she knows that most people who know me that are close to me know that my nickname is debauchery. So that means that when you are with me, I'm going to engage in some hedonism in some way, shape, or form. But when it came to sexuality, I knew that I liked everything. I'm a very curious and adventurous person. But I know that when it comes to sexuality with a lot of people, they're trying to figure it out. And when they're meeting others, they're trying to figure out how they can engage with others. So more so for Nikki, I would think that she was just trying to see how her conversation can go with us. Because it became kind of that separate party at a point.
Yeah.
And it was like, okay, they kind of segregated themselves. And I was like, oh, what's that supposed to be? The thug room in there? Y'all in there chilling out, thugging it out and everything. And we the ladies of the house. So what we supposed? And so then that made her, kind of like, well, are we the ladies of the house? Because it's just the ladies' room. I didn't know.
Right.
And so that guided her questions for you. But I think because of the dynamics, the social dynamics that was going on, and that happens. I remember when I first came out, I lie to you not, I decided that I was going to come out. And my favorite aunt, my Aunt Cookie, God rest her soul, could sing. That was the alto that I was telling you about, Gilmore. That was, her voice was like thunder and lightning at the same time. She had a strong alto, and that thing when she sung some gospel, swear for goodness, it make you want to go punch somebody in their face. She was that person who said Lazarus, and Lazarus got
I know
up.
that's right.
she yelled at Lazarus, and Lazarus would rise. So I never forget that this Thanksgiving, it was me and my boyfriend and my good girlfriends, and we decided we was gonna break Thanksgiving up. This was the first time I had been around the family. This was the first time I actually came out. And I came in full ensemble in all gay regalia that I could think of. Let me tell you, I RuPaul myself.
Balloons with M&Ms taped to the tip of them for titties.
the brown ones, the brown M&M, brown M&M nipples.
He said, it's cold. It must be cold in here.
And I came in full, when I went to my grandparents' house in my full regalia, we got out of that hat. My aunt was she was outside and she just screamed because she was like, first of all, she was my biggest ally. But second, she was just like, you better do it. So she was like, go ahead on there. But part of it was, I can't wait to see the reaction. Now, my aunt was a Gemini. And so part of it was the entertainment. Because in her mind, she was like, I gotta wait to see all their fucking faces.
Hell yeah.
I'm gonna get ready to leave, but I think I'm gonna wait around for this shit.
Hold on. Let me walk in behind you so I can see everybody.
So you can get the full vision.
You want the whole right. You want to see it all.
She said, hold up. And when I went in there, they were gagging. You could have, let me tell you something. You could hear a mouse hopscotching in the wall. That's how quiet it got when we walked up in that house, that apartment. And let me tell you, the men in the family basically was like, well, gotta go watch football.
Look, it was like when what's her name showed up at the juke joint. And
shit, gotta go.
The piano player said, time to go.
No, my favorite was the old man. Good night, y'all.
Yeah, time to go.
One of my girlfriends from New Jersey, I won't mention her name, she was there. And my uncle, who is I love him to death. He's a social butterfly. He's just a charming individual. And so he sees her in the living room, and she has on these size 14 high heel shoes. And so he like, hey, sweetheart. And she's like, hey, how you doing? You know, and he's talking to her. He said, that's some, and he's like sweet talking and saying, yeah, you okay, welcome, you know, this, that, and the other. And then he says, well,
he landed
like,
on
and then he says, them some large feet. And
oh, what big feet you have?
big
The better you. Right.
Oh, what big feet you have? Oh, and what
big hands you have.
it was the funniest. It was the funniest comment.
There ain't no camel toe.
That's an elephant trunk.
Blue, I wish this was on camera. Oh my god.
I wish it was too. So the funny thing, those are my blue tails. That's a blue tail for you. But I will say that that has, for me, that was the experience. And I knew they didn't know how to engage me. So when I came out, it made everyone comfortable with talking to me because they had some way of knowing, oh, well, okay, we have an idea. But before they had no idea.
They knew when you wore the motherfucking spandex to gym.
There she go. She bring them spandex up every time.
Them spandex was the turning point. They should have known that it was some shit going on. When you bust up in there with them spandex, he had the Andre the Giant spandex with the fucking straps on the bitch.
No, I didn't. Let me tell you which one I had. Because I remember it had French tour that was red, white, and black, and French tour was going down the side, and it was French, and then the pants was tour. And let me tell you, I washed them one time. They became underwear. But I swore I wore them to gym, and you could not tell me that I wasn't Paula Abdul, Lisa. I was in Paula Abdul, Lisa in the Cult Jam. I wasn't Jody Watley. You can tell me shit. I was all of that.
Oh man, they did wear a lot of spandex in the late '80s. That's what.
In your direction.
Oh,
I'm a sex shooter. And they've been snaking and shit.
Look, you got me laughing like Daffy Duck. Goddamn, I'm Looney Tuning over here. Because why did they all did the snake the whole time? They was in there.
The whole time.
So that
Go ahead,
was
Blue.
but that was the experience, and I don't know where Nate went at, but for Nate, that's what I know that my girlfriend wanted to get to know him and everything like that, and she actually really enjoyed his company and everything. But I know that it was a culture shock because my friends are kind of a blend. I have an eclectic group of friends.
It's called a melody.
So it's like you got your thugs, you know, then you got your churchy conservatives.
He got friend gumbo.
Yeah, I have friends. Then I got
goulash. Woo, goulash just sound like we wet. It's we bunch of wet friends.
All types of shit in there.
Like we just sliding around Blues. Goulash. Just goulash.
I should have worn my galoshes.
Right up in here.
It's greasy.
So moss. It's moss or something. Like a lady.
And Blue, and look at Blue being there. We all in this cauldron, stirring the pot, just seeing what we gonna do next.
I knew.
Right.
Well, the funny thing is, I will say, and that's what I really wanted. So when I first came out, I said that I was going to create the family or create the tribe that I really wanted. So I
Oh
wanted
man.
to have a healthy blend of all those things. I know when I first came out, I had a lot of, rough around the edges people that like to fight, that like to drink, like to drug and everything. And then as I evolved, my friends evolved. So I have a healthy assortment of my artsy friends. I have an intellectual group. I have my geeks and nerds and my anime fans and all of that. And so when I have a party, I have something, I have a blend of all of that. And I know when Nate when I was upstairs doing what I do, which is getting ready because I have to make a queen's entrance, and he was down there getting culturally shocked by everyone that was here. I'm glad that they didn't do anything. I'm glad it wasn't. I'm glad it wasn't as many people here as it usually is. That's what I'll say.
Well, you know who my favorite person I met at your house is, and that's your damn cousin. That was just, I felt like I met my whole other side right there.
Yeah, she wild as shit.
Oh my god!
You have not seen the rest, and that's the funny thing, because it's like, okay, well, if you think she's a handful, wait until you see the rest of them when they get together.
And see, that's what my family is like. That's why I loved it so much.
What cousin won't be coming?
What cousin?
The one that came to the cocktail.
Came to the show. That motherfucker, man, he disappeared. He was gone for at least 6 months.
But wait a minute. It was when he left the group chat for me that had me in the.
That man. When
he took himself out.
He ain't never coming back.
I
think he had to go de-gay.
Yo, that video was the best shit I have ever seen, because Christy is in the middle of you and Cable just going off, and he just getting deeper and deeper in his phone.
I was on that bitch blinking like shit. Like, goddamn, they talking with their hands and shit. All I've got is this shit going on. Because motherfucker, it this, that, and the other. And I'm just over that bitch like, what is happening?
Because all right, so I will say that I'm a passionate person. And I just call bullshit on a lot of things. But that was a healthy conversation.
Yeah, well, it was the wrong goddamn time.
That nigga almost slid under the table. He almost slid under the table and made his exit. Like,
it got to the point where he just totally, like, it was almost like he wanted him in the room. He was on his phone and shit. He started texting motherfuckers and shit.
We literally saw him go to his safe space.
Yeah,
like, if I stay in my phone.
I said, hey, Smitty, I said, make sure you film from here over, because he gone. He completely gone. He was on straight up mute. Like, it wasn't nothing.
So Nate, how was it a culture shock for you?
It's not, can you hear me? Because I think my sound is off. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you good.
So I think for me, it's not necessarily a culture shock. It's just, even in people who have known me for years, my best friends, it's just conversations that I normally zone out on. I'm not as bad as your cousin, because I watched him go from, hey, everybody, to just like a part of the wall. He just became a fixture in the room. But I'm not that bad. It's just, I think it's certain ways that I was raised, that certain conversations we just don't have. So I'm good. Most of it is very entertaining to me. But when it's directed at me, it's like, it's not even a hot spot. It's just, you want me to talk about where I put my dick?
You like your nipples being sucked?
Oh, okay. So
actually, I do. I don't know. Why? Yes, I do. Actually,
but I don't know how to gauge people's intention. So I don't know whether somebody just having an open conversation or somebody know me, or so I never know. So I just normally be like, okay, I guess nipple sucking is good for you.
Yeah, Lord.
So I join in y'all conversations, but I don't feel like, oh, that is just horrible.
You ever got milk out of one? Shit.
But I don't have to talk about it. I go and do it. I've never been a person to talk about sex. I normally just have sex. So even in relationships, I don't talk about it. But it's not weird to me.
Oh.
Y'all idiots.
If you want to build your immune system,
how you get over COVID? Well,
get yourself a titty.
Wow, that was so. It got a little.
It was
It got a
interesting.
little open and interesting.
Yeah.
I will say that in my adult years, I think that because I'm the age that I am and I don't have a filter, I can talk about whatever the hell I want to talk and I don't feel uncomfortable. You understand?
I can hear your brain ticking. Yeah.
Go ahead, D show, please.
Good. Which side?
I'm sorry. My bad. She did it. It's her fault.
So I'm just gonna drink because I know that y'all must be going.
My drink is in the damn house. I had to go to a funeral today.
Oh, sorry to hear that.
So my drink is in the house. And it's raining, so I just figure, I just stay in here and just wait it out.
If you're just joining us, this is Be Exposed Radio. This is the Kocktail Social. I'm your host, Blue Waters, and these are my socialites. We're engaging in our Cocktail Social at the moment. We haven't even jumped into a question. We're just talking at the moment, freely falling at this point. And so we were just discussing.
Free.
Big crack, great again.
Free falling.
So we were just discussing Thanksgiving at my space, and I did socially.
We weren't talking about that.
Complaining about cock.
He said we was just talking about cock, and like, no, we talking about titties actually.
Well, I mean,
you got them
wrong milk, dude. Wrong milk.
Speaking of titties,
you got more areola than titty.
Huh.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, because I said that I was going to break into the rest of this conversation.
It's like somebody dipped the tip of a light bulb with black paint.
It looked like a pancake.
Got them tribal titties.
It looked like yams.
Got them orangutan titties.
That motherfucker that's long and curl up at the bottom.
Who are you describing?
Look like an L wrench. He said, got Rafiki titties.
Well,
go ahead, Blue. Go ahead. You got to stop us because it's going.
We side.
Well, I mean, let's listen to you describe the areolas that you enjoy. So, to the cocktail question. Cable was trying to. Just log in, Cable. You don't need a
password. Come on in, Cable.
Bring your ass.
Come on in, Cable.
You don't need a password. Just log in. So, first question, not even a question, conversation, subject matter. What's the guy name from the Walls group? The Walls group is a gospel group.
The Rail Walls.
Yeah,
the gospel group, the Walls group, their gospel group, and the older brother was in another scandal. Apparently he was on, I want to say Instagram, and he was caught kissing the guy. Not that
the guy actually kissed him, actually.
Well, yeah, but I mean, he was caught kissing the guy because the guy they was involved in it together.
He asked for a kiss, and the guy complied. He said, "Give me a kiss." He said,
"Yeah." So my thing is this. Apparently,
was it tongue involved?
It was tongue. He was told that he at that point he decides that he was wanted to shut down his Instagram page and all of this social media.
That was a rumor because his page hasn't been shut down.
I know. I saw it. It hasn't been shut down, but I will say that when I saw this, I was like, okay, this is where you haven't learned your lesson. First of all,
wait a minute, ain't that the same one that was at
the same one?
Yeah,
it's the same dude.
And all that.
It's the same dude.
Yes. And so my thing is that I don't have a problem with you expressing your sexuality. Do what you want. But my thing is that when you are in celebrity status, when you are someone that everyone is paying attention to, you gotta be discreet. And also you have to figure out who do they act the people in your circle, do they actually have your best interests?
Yeah, I
Because
think that's the part that got
You
me.
have to be discreet. I'm just saying you got to be comfortable in your own skin, so that if you know you kissed a man on Instagram, like I don't know the whole story, but I'm just saying, like, if you know you kissed a man, and like are you ashamed that you did the shit, or like what's happening? Like,
I think
like,
essentially because he's a gospel artist. His father's a preacher. They Kojic. Kojics don't even like straight people for real.
so
So
why
it's
did you
like
even? So why
I
even?
think it's
Why
just
even go through all that? I feel like it's attention seeking at this point.
his cousin. Well, now they found out his cousin is the person who released it, which
And
is
I think that's his.
real
I
messed
think
up.
ultimately that's his problem. The people that he's around. I mean, this video wasn't nowhere near what the first video was, but for some reason, even the first video, it gave me the feeling that he wanted to get caught, because that could be, hiding your identity and who you really are
I
is
agree.
hard on people. So I think he wanted to get caught because maybe he wasn't strong enough to just come out on his own. And I just think he been wanting to be put out there, so he
I
didn't
just
have
feel
to
like
lie
it's
about
better
it
ways to
anymore.
go about the shit.
Well, I
Like,
think it's I think I learned this, and believe it or not, this was the best advice, and it came from Madonna. And when she was talking about when she was in her heyday and she was doing a cone breast and doing everything, she said any attention is good attention. Because they were talking about how much negative attention she was getting for doing her risque and eroticism. And she was like, no, this is negative to you, but it's good to me because any attention is good attention. And I think that for individuals that are in like at his status, I think that when this keeps him relevant to a degree. He's trying to make it. He's trying to keep. I think that it brings people to figure out, well, who is he in the first place? Who is the Walls Group? Can he really sing? What type of talent he is, and things of that nature. When I saw it, it wasn't nothing. I mean, he really basically said, "Give me a kiss."
Mm-hmm.
And the dude complied and was like, okay. And so it seemed like it was attention seeking because he knew he was being taped. It wasn't like he wasn't aware that this was on somebody's video. And when they say, well, it was leaked, part of me want to say, well, did he leak it himself? Because the way that
this
he
time the
was,
camera was
huh?
right in his face. So in his phone, it was the other guy's phone or somebody in your face. That was the camera that you knew was there. Unless
Yeah,
secret button
exactly.
camera or
So
something.
when I saw it, I was like, well, are you really ashamed, or are you doing this to get the
Right.
attention? You know what I
Because
mean?
some people, it's hard for them to just make a move and stand in their truth, but because people make it difficult for people to do that. And I know you're not supposed to say
well,
what people think,
especially when you're dealing with Christianity. You know what I
but
mean?
it's
Because
not the church
some
that's condemning
churches,
him in this moment. It's not the
you know,
church that's doing it.
But
but
I
no, but I'm
mean,
just
I'm
saying,
gonna piggyback on what Christy saying when she done.
yeah, like in certain churches, you know what I mean? It's like frowned upon if you gay, or and so I feel like I think it's more gay people in church
Mm-hmm.
than what we know about. You know what I mean?
Oh
It's
fuck,
some
you know
people that
about them. You know who they
portray
are.
they're straight and this, that, and the other. And I think they kind of living in the closet and covering up with how they really want to live. And I think they're afraid of how people are going to accept them if they do come out. So I just feel I don't know. I just feel like a lot of these gospel singers and stuff like that. I ain't saying that all of them gay, but I'm just saying there's some of them that's out there that's gay, and they don't want to admit that they're gay because they're supposed to be honoring God and Christ and this, that, and the other, and blah, blah, blah. And they just, they don't know how to really come out.
Mm-hmm.
I'll say I know because I was looking at this kind of from the church end, just from having worked in churches, been a hired singer in churches, and everybody know who's doing what. Everybody, it's one of the things you just don't talk about it.
Right.
Because they gonna get up on service every Sunday. They gonna bash the fuck out of you. Going to hell. You an abomination. You're a sin. This, that, and the third.
Mm-hmm.
And
But
then
at
you
the
got
same
that.
time,
But
they let you
no.
direct the fire.
But not even that part. It's like it should be. It's not. It's even deeper than that. And you watch these cats who it's not just a thing where it's at church. This is a family thing where that's how they think. And then his father is the pastor of the church he grew up in. And so he's getting this from at home, he's getting this from there. And it was like supposedly from what I don't know these people, but supposedly I do know his manager. From what she said, it was a close friends group. On Instagram, you can have close friends where you share shit. Everybody knows his boyfriend that is in his very close circle.
Mm-hmm.
So they was on like a video chat, and that was one of the things that it happened in the video chat, and then the shit got leaked. I think what is fucked up is that, even after all this shit came out and everything, it's what people are saying. The shit that these Christians are saying, that shit is what's fucking crazy to me. And it's just like, I mean, even in Baltimore, we all know who doing shit in Baltimore in these big ass churches. We know all this. Everybody knows, or heard a story about somebody or what shit and everything. Um, but the fact that now that it's out there, you have these people who are saying that, oh, you have this gift, but God's going to take it away. God's going to kill you. God's going to make sure you get AIDS and die. And it's like, and these are not old, but these are not old people that are saying this. This is young people. This is people in his age group.
But they still.
And I think that's fucked up. I think that it shows that
but
there's
these
a
the same
massive
ones that like you gonna bash somebody being gay, and you want to talk about, oh, you an abomination and you this that, and the other, but you out here fornicating with whoever the fuck you want to fornicate with. So it's a sin is a sin is a sin. I don't give a shit if you steal a pencil or if you murder somebody or whatever. It still has the same weight because it's still a sin. So I just feel like a lot of these people in these churches are very hypocritical, and they quick to judge somebody else on what the hell they doing, but they be the main bitches in the club shaking their ass and sucking dick and drinking and smoking weed and all types of shit on the weekend, and then want to be holy and dial on Sunday.
It ain't no hoe like a church hoe. Them chicks in there, they do shit. Look at it, make you clutch your damn balls. Like, damn, what?
So what I will say,
do this all while going down on a motherfucker. I don't normally do this, but bitch, you lying.
Like, bitch, you got the balls.
So what I will say is this. I will say that a lot of times when it comes to people with their stereotypes and biases, especially when it comes to religions, I always see the human in it. I don't see that as being anything because it makes God human. It makes God fallible. It makes God flawed. I think that everything that is designed to be if you do believe in a higher being and that it is omnipotent, omnipresent, and all of those wonderful things, then everything that is here is designed is supposed to be as it is. So when it comes to gay people and things of that nature, those individuals are how they were designed to be. I think when people project their own biases and stereotypes and stuff like that, that's when it becomes an issue. So for his group, I think what happens is one, I believe that he may have a lot of individuals that may be envious of him. I think that a lot of them may actually probably desire to be with him. And because they're not getting the attention that he's given to other people, that they're sabotaging his career, I think that he needs to be more mindful of he has a wonderful talent, he has a wonderful voice, and everything like that. But I think that also with being an entertainer comes ego, and he needs to be very mindful of his ego, that it doesn't get so big that he doesn't realize that everyone doesn't have his best interests, and like this is not the first time this has happened to him. Someone in his circle has undermined his career in some way, shape, or form. And
I don't even think that, because like even with the first video, if this is the same dude that I think we talk about with your daddy's church and all that other stuff, okay, it wasn't but two people there, him and a dude. So only one person really could have leaked it because only one person recorded it.
Well, it was a friend of the other guy that was in the video that released that one, that leaked.
But how did he get it?
It was because him and that person were friends. The other guy
he showed it to some, he shared it. But my thing is that also goes to maturity. And so this goes back to what you was talking about a little bit earlier, Nate.
So
now,
he called Monica Lewinsky is basically what the fuck happened.
Yes. And my thing is that, I grew up in an era where loose lips sink ships. So, and when it comes to the bedroom, I know to be discreet, not that because I'm afraid, but because I don't want to be the one I don't like to tell nobody else's business. So if it's your business, you share your business. And I don't get glamour out of spooking somebody else's tea. So if you out there, and when I mean tea, that's just business for anybody. That's a gay term for some of the individuals, for my heterosexual friends and allies. Tea is, information, spooking their information. So I don't share people's information because that shows a lack of maturity. That shows envy. That shows that, you know what I'm saying? I might covet something that you have. I might want something that you have. I might even want to be with you. You get what I mean? And so I think that's what essentially I believe that's what happened with the first video. The guy was jealous. And so he leaked the video.
I don't know him personally, but I am familiar with like his friends. And the problem is people that's like you said, it's people around him that I don't think they are as envious of him in terms of his talent. That may be part of it, but a lot of people who are around him want him. And I don't know where he's at with his identity, so I don't like speculating. But it's crazy to me that this has gotten to this space and that he hasn't learned his lesson from the first time. And it's not, for me, I'm private because I work with children, so I don't want that stigma around me. And I don't care what people think, but there's still a level of privacy that you must maintain. And the higher you get, the more that privacy has to be protected. Like,
well, you know what? And to say something to that, Nate, now I remember when I was when I first came out and I was working in the school system and someone indicated that, well, you're gay. How do you feel with working with children? There's a difference between being a pedophile and being gay.
But a lot of people don't.
So I want people no, this is for straight people. Pedophilia is individuals that are attracted to children. Yeah. That does not mean you're gay. There are just based off of research, there are more individuals that identify as heterosexual that are pedophiles than are gay. Yeah. So that's just do your research. So I just need y'all to just look that up. But pedophilia is when you are attracted to children. Being homosexual is when you're attracted to the same sex. Being gay has nothing to do not necessarily with homosexuality as it does with are you able to love an individual? That's where the differentiation is. Because a lot of it is stuck on what you do sexually. And there are a lot of people that are sexually ambiguous. They have sex with whoever they feel like they want to have sex with. So you can be homosexual, you can be heterosexual, and you can be bisexual. That only talks about the physical action. That has nothing to do with love or maintaining a relationship. And I think that's where a lot of confusion happens. Because a lot of times it's just about busting a nut. You bust a nut with anybody, but after the nut is done, what do?
Go to sleep. Want some juice? Want some juice?
Make a sandwich. Make a sandwich.
Who do you build your?
Jonathan, good answer. Good answer.
What you say? What you say, Mr.
I said make a sandwich. You make a sandwich. That's what you do after.
Well, and that's what our society looks at. They only look at the actual physical act. They don't actually look at longevity. Like, do you actually fall in love with these individuals?
You got a lot of like I know some gay couples that really don't have sex. It's more about companionship more so than the sexual, just being sexual with somebody.
Absolutely. That's the truth. The reality is that it's a lot more that goes into companionship than into the physicality of it all.
But the only thing that kind of kills me, not to interrupt everyone, about when people want to talk about, you know, what gays do versus straight, it's no difference. The only difference is that we just doing it with the same sex. We go through the exact same things. Only thing we don't do is get pregnant.
Right.
And I would say don't worry about the bleed, but some of these girls think they on their period. I don't get that. But the same struggles we face relationship wise is the same thing that straight people go through, heterosexuals. So it's no difference in what we go through. It's just the same sex. It's no difference.
But I think the issue is that we can't have healthy conversations without everyone becoming emotionally involved. And I think that that's the issue. I think that a lot of times they lead these conversations with their emotions and not really think it through. And that's what I changed about my whole approach is I just think about it logically, and it's not as complicated as everyone makes it. It's really simplistic. But people lead with their emotions, and when their emotions are involved, that's when it becomes really complex. So, but
I feel like the bigger thing, or I guess my walk away from this whole story, it's not so much about the fact that he was kissing a man, or I don't give a shit. I think my major walk away that anybody should walk away from this is that you really need to look in your circles, look at your people, your friends, look at your groups, because what I saw in the video was the fact that they looked like they were happy and they looked like they felt like they were safe with the people they were talking to.
Yes.
And that's really fucked up for your friends to know. And because I'm pretty sure these people know that this nigga was trying to keep this shit on the low, whatever. But if they gonna fucking expose that shit, you really need to look at all your fucking friends, because
they wasn't friends from the beginning.
But the fact that they posed and made him think that they were friends. See, we can say oh, they wasn't friends and shit like that, but clearly he was in a space where they perpetrated being a friend. They perpetrated being family. They perpetrated doing all that shit, and it wasn't for real. And I think that's what's the most fucked up part of the story for me is that, I mean, I just I can care. Like that part of it just doesn't.
It wouldn't matter.
No, but I don't give a shit what it is though. Like if it's the fact that you have cancer and you don't want to tell nobody, then your friends should not put that shit out there.
Amen.
If you got a fucking boil, your friend shouldn't tell anything to try to get clout. And a lot of niggas nowadays, men, women, straight, gay, tell a whole lot of people, other people's business so they can get clout. Yeah, and this was a clout moment for somebody. And I think that it is really sad because but hold on. Let me finish this real quick. Because I know I'm a person, I struggle hard with trust and being vulnerable with people. I'm not good at it. And this story here didn't help with it, because if my shit is put out there without me actually saying it, and I know you didn't just put the shit out there because you trying to look good and fucking laugh with your fucking friends and shit. See, then that's when the Baltimore nigga turn on, and then I just gotta do something different. Is that right? No, but I think it's just fucked up because only thing I saw was somebody that looked like he was completely safe in that moment, and his friends fucked him over, or family, or whoever, and that's bullshit. And nobody should have friends like that.
And I agree. And also, my thing is that so I was one who had trust issues. I had trust issues. And I understand what that is, what that's like. But my thing is that I give everyone the benefit of the doubt. I don't burn the bridge, you do. And when you burn the bridge, it is your responsibility to rebuild it, because I won't come to rebuild it. So if I extend my olive leaf, my olive branch, and I'm saying I want to be a friend to you, I'm trusting you, I'm opening myself to you, I'm being vulnerable with you, I'm being a friend to you, and I'm open, and that's what I'm giving you, because that's, to me, friendship is the purest and the most unconditional form of love there is. So when you say that you're a friend, that's why I hold it in high regard. I don't call everybody a friend. I don't call a lot of people friends. You could be associate, but when I call you a friend, that to me, you are, believe it or not, I don't even date someone that is not my friend. If it's a sexual relationship, this is what it is. You can't go no further than that until we become friends. I need to know your secrets. I need to know your aspirations. I need to know all these things before I can even invite you in, before I'm comfortable with you. So friendship is My friends are more important to me than some family.
Word.
So the reality is,
your friends is your family that you choose.
yeah, and so I hold it in high regard. When you violate that friendship in any way, shape, or form, it is your responsibility to repair it. Because I won't, because I've already given you that door. I've opened the door for you and you shut it. You did something to damage it and you have to fix it. Now, my thing is that when you decide if you should you want to fix it, if that's on you. It's my responsibility, it's my decision. Do I want you back in that same
But it looked like the people,
same way?
like specifically in this situation, it don't even look like they were at that level of friendship. Because when you do something like this to somebody, that means you were never a friend. That means
First of
there's
all,
no coming back from
we
that.
can't be friends if I don't have some shit on you that can fuck you up if you run for office or some shit. If I don't know a story that can fuck up your election, you can't be friends.
But see, and you know,
Well,
we're laughing about that, but
You stupid, yo. Right.
but see, Mazel, what you're saying, one of the reasons my trust issues come.
That's fine.
I don't trust individuals to that level because people will do strange things if tides turn. So if we ever at a situation where you have an upper hand and you mad and you say some shit, I want a friend that it wouldn't even matter whether they have something on me or not. But people can't be friends to that
I'm saying
level
it should
no
be an
more.
even exchange of dirt that you have on each other.
Yeah.
That like that builds up the trust because it's like, okay, you know some shit about me that I wouldn't want nobody else to know, and I know some shit about you that you may not want nobody else to know. If we don't have that type of relationship, then we ain't really truly friends. We just associates.
Right.
You know what? I'm gonna say this.
Dirt. Your friends,
I can say what I.
they know your dirt. They know you, and they still love you just the same.
Right.
No matter
So
what.
my thing is this, Mazel. When I'm in disputes or disagreements with my friends, I can say what I want to my friend. No one else can say what they want to them.
Right.
And I'm also the type of person who we can throw mud at each other, but I won't throw mud around people that don't know.
Absolutely not.
But you need to cut your beard down some. But then nobody else tell her you better cut your goddamn beard down. Like, ain't who the fuck you talking to? You don't talk to her like that.
So that's just me and my friends. I'm a loyalist. So I'm a type of person who I'm loyal to my friends to a fault. And I'm the friend that if you was to murder somebody, I'm cussing you the fuck out. I may even go upside your head. But I'm going to
go bury that body together. That's right. We're going to go bury that bitch and ain't going to talk about it no more.
I'm going to physically put my hand on the body, but I might give you an idea of what you need to do with it.
Yeah, I'm going to be gloved down now.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not going to actually commit the crime, but I'm going to know about the crime that was committed, and I'm going to shut the fuck up, and I'm going to just be like, look, you need to X, Y, and Z, blah, 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 as I'm slapping you upside your fucking head, talking about how stupid you is, but that's me. So, I don't care what people think about that. That's just how I am. You know what I mean? I don't owe nobody nothing. That's how I deal with my friends. You see what I'm saying? And so when I see situations like the thing that he's dealing with, first of all, that's why celebrities don't really trust people too much because of situations like that. But it's not just with celebrities. I think it's specifically with him because he's a celebrity that he needs to be more mindful of the people.
And I almost wonder if he even thought of himself as that, being that kind of celebrity that even would need that type of thing.
You really got to think.
Honestly, it's not even just with him just being a celebrity. You also got to add in the fact that he's a gospel celebrity because this would have been any R&B singer or anything, unless you're rap. For some reason, that's another one they real hard on gays on. But if he was an R&B singer or a pop, it would have been that big of a difference. But because he is the three things, because he is an artist, number one, gospel artist, and a black man. Oh, baby.
Oh no, it's across the board. You could be an R&B singer if you're an R&B singer and everything like that. If you were somebody like Usher or Chris Brown and something like that came out about, yes, it would be damaging. So I think it's just across the board that you kind of you have to really be mindful of the where you are because he's in the spotlight. I mean, this boy has sung with.
I think it's only damaging if you're trying to hide the shit.
Because do y'all remember the singer Tone? But do y'all remember the singer Tone? He was in the late 90s, early 2000s. He can really
absolutely.
Tone was on his way to crossing over because of his gospel sound. And then it came out that he was gay.
Yeah, he did.
They literally made an example out of him. This is what the church even has said, that they made an example out of him. They murdered his career. And then you didn't hear from him from years. He came back. Now he changed his name. He's B Slade.
B Slade, yeah.
And talented producer, talented singer. And now he just recently started singing in churches again. But even then, it comes with, oh, it would be so much better if you were not. And just as also like the
people in church, they
but hold on, but hold on. But see, the thing is, you're also thinking just church. This is how he makes money. There's another singer, the woman Bishop Yvette Flunder. She sung "Thank You, Lord." Tragedies are commonplace.
Yeah.
When she goes into churches, the one thing they say, "Oh, I wish she would have more anointing if she wasn't a lesbian."
But that's that closed mind.
But the thing is that they made examples of them. When this happened, think about the fact that this guy, Darrell Walls, at this time probably was like a kid.
He's only 29 right now, actually.
Oh shit, yeah. He definitely was a kid when it happened then. So he grew up understanding that if you show whoever your true self is, they will make an example of you. They will take your business, they will take your money, they will go after your following, and you will have shit.
And
so
that's on his shoulders.
But you know what? I will say this. I'm gonna say this about B Slade, about him, and about those individuals. Yeah, they have those. Their church is there where they make a lot of money, and they do get a lot of direct money from, because if you perform in a church, they'll raise you a couple of $1,000s right there, depending on the size of that church.
Oh no, shit, Blue! No, Blue. It's not offering now. When you go into churches, you go in with your rider and how much you're getting. Marvin Sapp is not singing at your church for less than $85,000. And he may only be doing 2 songs. And then you have a fee for singing and you have a fee for preaching. And if you're doing both, then you're getting paid both.
Well,
and so what I'm saying is that
church is not church no more. Church is a business.
It's a business. It's always been a business. But what I will say is that what they can't take away from him is his talent. B Slade, regardless of whether he's singing in the church or outside of the church, he's always going to be a talented singer. His voice is his voice. That's his gift. Right. Same thing with Darrell. If he's not with his brothers and sisters singing, that boy can stand on his own 2 feet singing. He has a beautiful voice. He has the talent. And he doesn't necessarily need the accolades of the church to be talented. He was talented before the church. It's just the fact that his talents was honed in the church and he's used it for church. But I believe that my thing is this. And it's just to speak to individuals that may be struggling with their identity and who they are and may be struggling with their spirituality and everything, that your spirituality is a personal relationship with you and God. Has nothing to do with the fanfare or anything else. And I think when he gets to that point where he realizes that, he'll be okay with who he is. And I think that this is what we're saying, this is a struggle. Because even with B Slade, I think it was a struggle with his sexuality and the church because they were conflicting. But it's a difference between being religious and being spiritual. I think now he's a lot more spiritual and he's okay with who he is. And he's okay with still being able to be spiritual and going to church and deliver a message because it's coming from an actual real place. And I think that
I think the prayer is that he gets to that point.
From the fact that that hurt that person still feels, because this is the group of people that he grew up with, who he called family. You praise God with every Sundays and Bible study these days. You grow a connection with these people, and so despite of who you are, you're still thinking that they're gonna love you. Even a little part of you still gonna think, oh, they still gonna love me even just come out, but you're still fearful because you still have that slight hint of doubt. So when it does come out and they showcase this, this form of hurt, that shit hurt, and it's nothing that you're gonna do is going to take that away. And try and I go on experience that, and what's the name said earlier, and there's one thing I wanted to say. The problem with church folk today is the two things in the Bible they don't follow, these holier than thou ones, and that is don't judge anyone, and the other one is the one that Mazel said earlier, where sin is sin, baby. And church folk like to weigh sin for their own personal need or their own personal gain. And the problem that I have with the gay community in church is that the church uses the gay community to get what they want, to get funds in church, to get people in seats. They use musicians, they don't mind you being gay when you sending in this into the seats, but then when it's released, they want to throw you out there. But that's after they done got all the money to get these bigger
But that's
buildings.
what I'm saying. They hypocrites. Like, how you gonna say you Christian, but you judging people? How you gonna say you Christian and you don't love everybody? Because
this issue is much bigger, and I'm not saying it because I go to church, but this issue is bigger than the church.
Absolutely.
It's deep seated in
what I'm doing is my
we can't keep blaming.
Hold on, let me.
Blaming the church.
I can't hear him.
We can't just keep harping on the church, because those church people still go out to communities. Those church people still go out to their families. So it's a cultural issue, and if we keep attacking it on just the side of the church, we still will have people being killed in alleyways, or that's not the church. That's not the church killing that person. That's their community member at that point.
I can't agree with that.
Can I say something to Cable? When you said that that you grew up loving these individuals, what I will say is this: a lot of times, because people are struggling with their sexualities, what they grow to love is a mask, and you're not really truly, you don't really know who you are. And when you figure out who you are, then what happens is the struggle is that can they love you as you are? Because they've grown to love the mask. They're not actually loving you. They're loving an idea of you. They can't. And so when you show them who you are, the reality of you, that's completely different. You get what I'm saying? So it's like when you say, for me, it's like, if this is the way I interpret it. If I'm putting on a facade for so many years because I want everyone to love me or like me, and I've been wearing this suit, I've been wearing this tie, I've been doing these things, and then I decide that I actually want to be me, and these people change, it's because they really never knew me.
Well, you're not being yourself from the beginning. Because when you start putting on a mask and fronting and portraying yourself as a certain way, and you know that's not you, you can't get mad at those people for changing their mind of how they feel about you.
I think, again, that's easier said than done.
No,
go ahead, Karen. Karen, I think Karen had something to say too.
Karen,
yeah.
Hi, y'all. First of all,
hey.
I'm late to the party. I don't know all of what we're talking about, but to the point of, the people loving you, and if they know you, then they should love you and things like that. What about those people who are pew babies? They are born and raised in the church. They are relatives. Sometimes they are the sibling of, or they are the sons and daughters of clergy, or they are kinfolk to the first families of the church. And these people know that they are gay. They know this from the time they are born, that these people are gay. But in order for them to love them, they force them to deny who they are in front of everybody else.
But they don't really love them. I feel like they don't really love them. Because
see, I think that's an outside looking in thing too, because we're saying, like, we can honestly sit outside and say, oh, it's a mess and they should do this. Oh, they don't love them, they should do this. These people, I know because I was socialized in church, it is a very different, you can't explain it unless you were in it. And you have seen people literally put out, and what that can do to someone who was put out. And this is not just in church. You've seen somebody put out of a family, and it's easy to say, oh, well, they can go ahead and they can make their own life and do all this other shit. No, they have been put out of everything that they know. And we can only judge it psychologically. We can, and and I want to say, and Blue, I'm not attacking what you said here, so please don't take it as that, please. that we can say that we just need to look at it logically and without emotions. And I hate when people say that emotions are not part of how we need to look at something, because I'm emotionally connected to something. So that means my emotions are important to how I am seeing, dealing, and going through something.
Amen.
So when you see somebody get essentially excommunicated
Right.
and what it can
Shunned.
do to that person, shunned, right?
Mhm.
This shit is real.
Right, and
And
that's what I said about that church. It's easier to say, this and that, but like what you just said, that's exactly what I was saying. That emotional, the attachment that you have, because again, you grew up forever looking at these people as your family, and just like anyone else that you grow up with, friends or family that hurt you, you're going to be hurt, and that's going to stick. And
yeah, it sticks. It sticks. I've seen situations where a young lady has gotten pregnant outside of wedlock,
absolutely,
and has been told, one, she has to be sat down, meaning the one thing that might be keeping her connected to or rooted in or grounded in God, whether she's on a dance ministry or she sings or whatever, she can no longer participate in church activities. And not only that, but she cannot have a baby shower. Or if she does have a baby shower, she better not pass out invitations in church, because you cannot celebrate her because she has participated in sin. It's not that the baby is a sin. The baby is just an evidence of the sin that she participated in. Like, I just think it's ludicrous. The stuff that I have witnessed is not love.
And I agree. I'm gonna say this:
It's
when it
not
comes
love.
to, it's not, and that's why I raised my point. My point is that when you experience that, that is when you start to understand the difference between being religious and spiritual. I grew up in a very strict religious space. My religion was Jehovah's Witness. I don't think of anything that is as strict as them. They will excommunicate you. They will disfellowship you. They will get rid of you if you are gay, anything other, all of that. And the other one was Islam. And so my thing too is two very strict religious bases that I was affiliated with, and I knew what they were dealing with. But what I did find out through them is the difference between my connection with the social aspect of it, meaning needing them to validate who I was, and me being spiritual, meaning my relationship with the God that I come to know. Because the reality is that a lot of times when they do that to punish you for being you. You walk away feeling less than. You walk away feeling like you are inadequate. You walk away feeling like, you know what, you're alone, and you're not.
But again, they are judging. That goes against all of what you like in Christianity. You supposed to love one another. Period. You ain't supposed to love you only if. It's supposed to you love everybody regardless of what it is. So when you have somebody that's passing judgment on somebody and telling them, oh, you can't be here because you don't walk this way, or you don't do this, or you don't do that, then I feel like you're full of shit anyway, as a church. Because I mean, just to say, like you gonna frown upon gay people, but then you got the choir director that you know is flaming fucking gay, directing the choir, and like you said, as long as them people sitting in them seats and them offerings coming in, oh,
you're good.
They out good. This and the other, they fine with it.
And the best show that showcased that, and I think that's why a lot of people didn't like Greenleaf, because Greenleaf really exposed how church is, especially when it comes to treating the gays.
Greenleaf was real straight up with it.
It was straight
up with it.
And just like that gay man who sang that church and people came in giving their offerings and everything, as soon as they got rid of him, blah, blah, blah. But what happened? They brought him back because they realized he was a token that they needed to make coins. And that's why I don't like people like Kim Burrell.
So they hypocrites. You
hypocrites.
Can't say, oh, you good to be in the church. Even though you gay, it's okay that you here as long as you getting these people in the seats. But then when the people don't get in the seats, now you want to frown upon them and be like, oh no, we don't practice that here, and you going to hell and all this other shit.
Baby, you
First of all, you going to hell for telling me you going to hell, because you ain't supposed to damn nobody to hell because you don't have that fucking power.
But I mean, I think also Nate kind of said, he put the nail on the head too with this one. It's like, we're talking about this in the church, but this literal same dynamic is in the hip hop world.
It is.
This literal same dynamic is in the activists, the black social activists.
Oh, definitely.
Well,
the
John,
same dynamic kind of. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Kate.
When I brought up the church, and I just want to explain why I keep.
Oh no! I started. No. I started with the church because I was talking about the railroad.
Oh yeah,
so
no.
I definitely went in on the church.
Bringing the church into it because I wanted to say that because Nate said it earlier was the fact of what the backlash he's receiving from the church world.
Mm-hmm.
As far as what everyone else see, I it is what it is, baby. You gay, the videos out there. I'm so sad that he's in this lifestyle that is so shameful to the people that he loved growing up and thinking they was going to appreciate him because he's this big star. He was trying to build these things up to try, if it do come out, they still will love me regardless. And then he realized he's just like the rest of them that got caught and they don't love you. So it's unfortunate, but I blame the church world because they should have been there lifting them up when it came out. And instead they did exactly what they normally do.
When you wear a mask and you're not being true to yourself, then how do you expect people to be true to you?
Now, see, now that's what I'm glad you keep saying that. Now, that's the one thing I want to say. I can't agree with the word mask because the only reason why I have an issue with that is because a lot of it I went to church and it wasn't a form of masking. It was just, I didn't feel as though it was anyone's business, to be quite frank. And yes, I've seen the things that people have done to people that did come out. So it was more of a protection for myself, but I still love the singing choirs. I still appreciate the church for what it offered me as far as knowledge on the Bible and stuff, and also meeting new people. But I can't say I wore a mask, and I went to church for years. I mean, I really didn't care what they thought, but it's weird. You don't care, but you do. But it's like levels to it. It's not like I care, like I'm gonna kill myself.
Right?
Oh, can I speak to that?
You know what I'm saying?
And I love that Karen brought up women as well because this isn't just something just with gay people. There are a whole lot of things that work outside of what the church believes, where they attack heterosexual men for things, they attack women for things. It's all types of bullshit.
And
all at the same time, the preacher fucking 16 women in the church. So it's like you can't say again, a sin is a sin is a sin is a sin. So you can't sit here and pass judgment on this person over here because they gay, or this person had a baby out of wedlock. But you out here fornicating with the women in the church and you married.
Which is why you don't hear much of them preaching.
That's why I want to say. I agree with I kind of understand where everyone is coming from, and that's why I like this conversation. I think it's really organic. I think everyone is expressing what their feelings is from a very true and honest place.
You all right?
You good?
You seen Johnny?
Huh?
You seen Johnny?
Huh?
I see him say, "Oh shit," and then he flipped.
Right, and it's like
that sounds like a spider. Is it a bug?
Oh, here we go.
A damn spider just was. It was like.
Look,
Didn't I call it? Didn't I call it? I called it.
Oh my god! It was just like I looked up. Okay.
He said,
I called it.
I don't do the bugs.
I'm gonna say with me, and this is from first, and I'm gonna close it out on this. With me, when I was growing up, I think I did subscribe to. I tried to placate to the individuals that meant something to me. So those individuals that were parents, aunts, uncles, this, that, and the other, because of the religious background that I grew up in, and so I did want to be. I wanted them to be proud of me. I wanted them to accept me. I wanted them to like and love me. So I knew that this thing that they did not like would make them feel some sort of kind of way about it. So I did. That was a mask for me. I'm not speaking for anyone else. And the reason I did that was because I saw how they treated everyone else who was different from me. And so my thing is that what I learned socially was that this group of individuals was not like. I remember when AIDS first came out, and my grandmother, it was a guy around my neighborhood that loved my grandmother to death. But whenever he would visit, she would spray the chairs down with bleach because him being gay mean that he had HIV, he had AIDS. And she just, and so, but that was the way, and and I saw people who were just ostracized for their sexuality. So that taught me how to subscribe, how to conduct myself. Now, as I got older, what I learned was that as I lost my filter, I really didn't give a fuck about what they thought about me because I was learning to like myself more. So as I learned to like myself more, that mask started to fade because I started to be true to me. So I don't know if anyone else out there has ever actually had that experience, but I know that coming to terms with myself was the coming out of.
We have a phone call. We have
Who's
a phone
calling
call.
in?
Oh, we got a call.
It's Brianna.
We gotta do a special. We gotta do a special thing for them. This is our first caller.
Well,
It's Brianna.
Hey, Bree.
This is Brianna. Hey guys.
Hey. Oh,
So
what's
listen,
up, sis?
I'm first of all, I miss y'all. I love y'all. This is
I
amazing.
love you.
So I had to call in really quickly because this conversation, I'm not sure if you all know, but I started something called Church Girl Confessions. And part of the reason was because of situations like this. Now, I came in on the tail end of it, so I'm not exactly sure what happened, but it sounds like some situation happened where somebody outed somebody, and he's a part of the church, and his family kind of pushed him away.
We were talking about the
So, like you all were saying, in situations like that, even outside the church, but in church, specifically for me. Now, although I'm not lesbian, I did have a baby out of wedlock. And I was one of those people. I did not get sat down. However, I was completely embarrassed and humiliated in front of the entire church on a Sunday morning.
Wow.
And I was also one of those people who they said, you can't have a baby shower. And if you do, you can't pass out those invitations in church, which I did anyway. But it was that moment for me, and I hope that that young man can get to that point. It was at that moment when I was humiliated, and I was told that I would be the last person that this would happen to in this church. And I was to stand up there and lay hands on the younger girls so that it would not happen to anybody else in this church. And there'd be another young lady standing there laying hands as well, because she's supposed to be, I guess, what was the example of how somebody was supposed to be living, only to find out that she was pregnant the entire time that she was standing up there and nobody knew. And it was at that moment, because here it is, you're the man of God and you're prophesying over your church and over your girls, this is not going to happen again. And it happened again, which let me know two things. Number one, you can't control your emotions. And number two, you'll speak the word out of emotion. And that's sometimes what we have to deal with, or what we have dealt with in churches. Pastors will sometimes speak out of emotion. People in the church, in the pews, will speak out of emotion because they really don't know what to say. Sometimes you should just be quiet. And at that moment, that's when I found God for myself. That's when I developed relationship for myself, because it's a whole lot bigger than religion. We have learned church. We have learned how to shout. We have learned how to speak in tongues. We have learned how to roll around on the floor and pray and hika mashanda and all that stuff. But for real, the relationship part of it is what I hope that he gets, because that will help him to really be himself and not give a damn about what anybody else thinks.
Amen.
I so appreciate you, Brianna, for that. Thank you so much.
Point too. You said a whole word with that one.
Thank you.
Yes, Lord.
It said our guest appearance from Bree.
Right. Y'all need to check out Church Girl
Yo,
Confessions, because she's doing some amazing work.
First, can I first just say that, number one, I don't know who that pastor was, but I'm just going to apologize for that person, just because they just didn't supply good human decency, number one, and that you were embarrassed like that. And just to hear your voice, you sound like you're stronger today than that moment. So I guess you have gotten over that, and that's a blessing. So I just want to say thank you for calling in and sharing that story, you know, because this is some true stuff that people are scared to talk about, is their dealings in church because they're scared of the backlash they may receive.
I would have burnt it down.
Well, I thank you. I appreciate it. I mean, I never have a problem sharing. I am an open book, and I feel like people will. The whole thing is, like Christy keeps saying, we're supposed to love everybody. There aren't any stipulations. We're just supposed to love. And if people would start being more open and being more transparent and telling stories like that, then you will bring so many more people closer to Christ, or, you know, so that they can have their own personal, because that's where we get screwed up, personal relationship.
Because my thing is, with that experience, you know, I feel like you could have gone a whole nother route. It could have pushed you away from church. It could have pushed you further away from God. And I feel like, again, you have these people in the church, which you judging people, which you're not supposed to do, because only God can judge. So you in here judging people and trying to make them feel some type of way about their particular sin, when again, a sin is a sin is a sin. So the same preacher that try to make you feel some type of way about being pregnant out of wedlock is probably the same damn preacher that probably been out here fooling around with women outside of marriage, or possibly drinking every weekend, getting drunk, or whatever. So it's like,
the Lord said nothing about drinking.
Huh?
He said nothing about drinking. He turned that water to wine so the party could keep going. So don't go put drinking in that argument.
You can drink, but you are not supposed to be intoxicated.
He kept the party going.
Y'all are crazy. I get it.
But you know what? Jesus did say one thing that, I mean, I will go a little scripture here, because I am a PK. Is that Jesus only gave one commandment, and this is in the book of John. He said, I give you one commandment, is that you should love one another as I love you, and that they will know whose you are by the love you show one to another. You ain't got to tell nobody. You ain't got to beat over nobody's head. They will know just by the love that you show.
King James.
And I mean, and that's true stuff. Like this dude. Now who is it who's going through this right now?
Darrell Walls from the Walls
Group.
Okay, so here's the thing. You see him sing. You know he loves Jesus. The last time I checked, like you said, if we're out here showing people love and them knowing whose we are, which, I mean, clearly you look at him and you're like, okay, yeah, him and God like that, then I don't understand why everybody else is in a big uproar, because like Christy said, you have people who go out here and sleep around. You have people who lie. You in the pulpit. You have deacons who steal money, trustees who steal money. You have all types of stuff.
Quite a few thieves.
You have all types. It's a bunch of stuff. Like y'all said, churches. No, I've never watched Greenleaf, but I do know that church is a business. There's all types of stuff that goes on behind the scenes. Like growing up in church and then seeing what was behind the scenes, I was like, oh yeah, no, I'm gonna have to know Jesus for me, because otherwise this ain't gonna work. No, and in in my situation, I absolutely did get closer to God from myself and my own relationship with Him. But when it came to those people, I was nasty. And Karen can tell you, I was nasty. I was a bitch, and I did not care, because I didn't appreciate being humiliated, and I made sure that everybody, including the pastor, knew it.
I don't know. I probably would have it all the way out. Right at Sunday service. Fuck you. Fuck your mother. You was cheating. You did this. I probably would have went all the way off.
Brianna, I dare you. I dare you to watch.
Hold on, Karen's trying to say something.
You said you dare me what?
I dare you go binge watch Greenleaf.
I am. And now, because of this situation, I am going to go and binge watch Greenleaf. Isn't it over?
Yeah, it's done.
It is.
Okay.
The series, everything is done.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I ain't never watched it.
It's a good series. It's a very good series. And I would say again, I appreciate you, Brianna, for telling your truth. that was I definitely understand. I definitely appreciate the fact that you told it from a real place. You said a lot of things that I felt, especially about people on a pulpit speaking from a personal space. You know what I
Yes.
mean? Just using their emotions to guide their speech. A lot of people do that, and that's the damaging part. That's what I wanted to let y'all know when I say about emotion, because a lot of people have their personal biases about things and they bring it to church, and then and because they're in a position of power, that's how they can manipulate. That's what they do.
Yeah.
That's what they use. That's a powerful position. And people, one thing I will say, when it come to culture, just think about how they were able to really fuck up black people. It was through religion, belief. They came in, they came in, the missionaries went in and changed the way that they culturally did things. They changed it, and that's how they broke down black people through religion.
It is a rough space to be to be in, especially if you go into church believing that the church is a hospital. If you go into church believing that that is where you go to be fixed because you believe that you are broken, and you go into the space and you believe that the person who holds the office as the pastor or the reverend or the minister in charge, and you go in as the supposed broken person, and if for some reason that person has decided that they need to fix their sight on you for whatever reason, and they decide to reel you in close for whatever, you have no understanding why they have pulled you in close, but for some reason you believe that they see something in you that you cannot see in yourself. That's a dangerous position for you to be in when you are a broken person. It is a dangerous position for you to be in. And when you find yourself in that place, on top of all of the I'm gonna say dogma, you got tradition, you've got all the cultural stuff, because different churches have different cultures. You got all this stuff mixed in, and you're trying to learn, and then you wearing the culture of you got all this stuff mixed in, and then you've got that person's emotions on top of it. You can find yourself, and clearly I'm speaking from a very personal place, you can look up and find yourself in a position that can be very, very dangerous. You are in a vulnerable position, and you look up and you might find yourself in a den with a wolf.
You go from being broken to being lost.
Yeah, that is how children end up molested. That is how women end up raped. That is how people end up with their money gone. That is how men end up, that is how people end up killing themselves. That is how so many people end up mishandled, misused, abused in the church, because instead of people coming into the church and being, I don't want to say assessed, but instead of people understanding what the church should be, you walk into basically a social club under the guise of a religious organization who are really seriously looking for God. They are seriously seeking out God, and instead they find something other that can be poisonous. And I'm not saying that all churches are like that, but what church is today is not what it should be.
You said a whole word, honey.
Like how you gonna judge me for sinning when I'm coming to church to be saved?
Right.
Yeah, but you can't find from. I'm only speaking from my experience, and I'm not saying that my entire. I'll put it like this. I was in church for 20 years. Not all of my 20-year experience was all negative, but I'll tell you what. In the 2 years that I have been gone from church, I have learned more about God in my 2-year absence that I let me rephrase that. My relationship with God has been stronger in my 2-year absence than it was in my 20-year education in church. In 20 years, I learned of God. In 2 years, I know God. I know God. Now, 20 years, I knew of him. I knew about him.
He was an associate.
I heard about him. I knew about him. I knew he do a few things.
We personal friends, honey. We personal
My
friends.
God was an associate.
I knew if I moved a certain way, if I dressed a certain way, if I said a few things, you know, he might do a few things for me. If I threw him a couple dollars, then
First
he
of all, I think
might would do
people
some
kinda,
things for me. What you
it's
said?
almost like you're treating God like a genie.
Yeah,
like-
yes,
like-
exactly.
like a
but
genie.
that was what I was indoctrinated into. You gotta pay your tithes, because if you pay your tithes will pay your bills. These are the things that I was taught. You pay your tithes and pay your bills. If you don't pay your tithes, you'll be cursed with a curse. Them is lies. Those are lies.
Well, I
That's
knew
what-
it was lies when the
what you
lady
got-
got
you
put
got
out
read in the
after she
Bible.
paid her tithes. I mean,
Huh?
I knew it was lies after the lady got put out after she paid her tithes, thinking
That
her bills would be
part.
okay.
Okay.
Oh.
Yep.
That
I-
part.
It was lies when they talking about the
I just
building
wanna
fund and they
add
ain't even changed a doorknob on that joint.
I'm gonna
Mr.
add this part. I'm gonna
Say
add
that.
this part for me, because you know, if for those in the cocktail world that don't know, Karen is my aunt, and we know our stuff. And Brianna, I've known. Shit, Brianna, I've known you 100 years now. You
Long
old.
enough.
Finally,
Long enough.
it took
She's
her
still
forever.
on here. She was still on
Yeah,
here.
no, but it took Brianna longer than anybody I ever met in my life to get into her 30s. I swear it's gonna be 20 forever. But anyway, but speaking on this year, 2020, and it's been very hard for me to, you know, when we talk about the negative effects of 2020, I can't. That's not my testimony.
Amen.
Mine
My
either.
testimony
Mine
is
either.
not that 2020 has been a horrible year. 2020 has been me surrendering all to God and watching every time I ran out of money, money came.
Mm.
Every time I thought I was sick and I prayed and it was gone. Every time, you know, I'm seeing a manifestation of years of work. You know, and I've just been seeing it one after the other. Like this past 4 weeks, I have gotten 4 opportunities that's not going to just help me, but help everyone around me.
Right.
And you know, 2020 that has not been my story, and because in honesty, 2016 was my 2020. 2017 was my 2020. 2018 was my 2020. I ain't gonna cry out here. 2019 was my 2020.
Listen.
So I'm watching people prepare and exist in a world that I've been living in and functioning in for 4-5 years now. And you know, I think that it's important that we understand where everyone's walk is. And that's where we talk about real friendship and real family. Because if you know somebody, you say you love somebody, and that's their walk, and that's where they are in their walk, you don't just push them out there just to say, oh, well, I had to do it. So, no, that's not love.
No.
It's a personal issue that you have that you felt that you need. And it's like, and I think that what I love so much about my tribe is that we know where we are and we respect where each other is in their journey.
Exactly.
But I wanted to say that just because, as we're sharing, that it was in leaving church where I found God as well.
Me too. Me too.
And it was there. It was, and in leaving, it's not that I left God. It's not that I don't still go to church. I will support and all this other stuff. But it was, I had to quiet the noise. Because when when my life was really devastated, I mean, Karen can tell you, it is. I am only now beginning to see the light, and so we really just have to be gentler with each other.
Yeah.
We have to be kinder to each other. We have to be mindful we have to, this is truly a love journey.
Yeah.
And we have to be very cognizant of that. One of my favorite parts of that whole thing about judge not lest ye be judged is that once they brought the woman to Jesus to try, and they were doing it to trap Jesus. This wasn't just something they was doing. They did it to trap him with Jewish law. So they brought somebody, for church tradition says that we should stone this woman. But he said, if you without sin cast the first stone, and what we don't say in this story is that the oldest man turned and left first. Because he knew that he probably had more sin than anybody standing there.
Right.
He lived the longest.
Hell yeah. And Blue, that's what I think why people gravitate towards you is because when they come into your house, you don't judge them for where they are. Because you realize that you have done whatever you have done, and what the fuck does that have to do with what you have done? You came here, and we're going to love on you.
That's right.
I hope that that's what my band represents, is that, that we're going to love on you, that when you come to my show, that we're going to love on you. I don't give a shit what you do. We're going to love on you a little bit, And so.
And that's why I'm glad that that's actually what brought me to who I am today. I think coming out was a very spiritual experience for me. I was homeless. I had no place to go. I had no support. I had nothing. And the biggest thing that was on my mind, I'll never forget it, was the fact that I was struggling with who I was. And I had been in these situations where I was trying to placate to everyone else. And placating to everyone else and trying to be someone that I wasn't, I was destroying myself. And it was at that point where I was at the lowest that I found my connection. And that connection has allowed me to meet some wonderful people. I like to I think of myself as I don't judge anyone for anything. I work with all sorts of individuals. I talk to all sorts of people. I'm not the type of person who will turn away from anybody. And that's literally, you think of the worst person and trust and believe I've talked to a person that's done killer, murder, rapist, pedophile, anyone you can think of. My whole idea is that true, genuine love isn't something that makes you feel less than.
Yeah.
It doesn't tear you down.
Yeah.
You don't walk away from it and you feel like you're incomplete. It inspires you, it empowers you, it enables you, it educates you, enhances you. It's all of those things. But what it doesn't do is it doesn't hurt. And that's what I have been, and that's what I try to be. And I think that people sometimes figure like, okay, well, you're this type of person. I'm true to me. I don't have to be true to you, but I'm true to me. And in that's why I make my space a welcoming space for different people and everything like that. And I think that to me is true church. So when people come to my space, that's church.
Yeah.
You can be in here playing cards, you can be in here playing gospel music, but your communion with one another, you don't feel like you're being cast out, you don't feel like you're hurting, you don't walk away, feel less than. That's what it's all about to me, and that's what I always look for. That's family, that's friendship, that's unconditional love. And that's what I think that the church is really missing. And I get it. You want to teach the doctrine and everything like that, but I think that what people read, that's what that's the logic of it. Is that people pay attention to the words, but they don't realize that the words were created by man. And that the reality is that the spirit behind those words you have to really challenge because you don't know what spirit was guiding those words.
Exactly.
So the thing is that, and so that's where I am. I'm always mindful of who's telling the story, the narrative, and why are they telling the story the way that they're telling it. Because if it at any point tears you down, you need to challenge it. You need to question it. Because that's not, to me, something that an omnipotent being
it's not
that
God
created everything would do. That's not what we do.
Everybody on this phone call, everybody on this thing right now, we are all walking scriptures. We are all our own book of the Bible. There's a book of
Absolutely.
Cable that has his story, his walk, his dealings with God. There's a book of
I don't want
Brianna.
to read
there's a
that book. I don't want to read that book. No,
But everybody has their walk, and that's what it's about. And when we tell about our walk, it helps somebody else.
Yeah.
So that it makes their walk easier. Because I ain't gonna tell you, life ain't for no bitches, man. Life is
Life is a heavyweight contender,
strong motherfucker to get through life now.
and she will whoop your ass. It ain't, and that's the problem. She will beat this. First of all, no one's got out of the ring of life alive. That lets you know how bad her ass is. She will beat the hell out of you. No one's left alive.
No one has survived. Go where no man has gone before.
But what it does, it teaches you how important things are. Like little shit. Like Cable, when I saw you pop on here, like literally my soul got happy. I was just like, look at him.
Yeah.
When I heard Brianna's voice on the phone call, I was like, I ain't heard Brianna's voice in a long ass time. Like, it feels good to just hear her.
You know, right?
You know,
I said, where you been, Penny? Penny, where you been?
Hiding from Rona.
I know that's right. But and that's the truth. It's so much about our walk, our personal walk and our collective walk is very important. And I think we have to just find a way to start being honest about our walk and how it can help each other within this circle and outside of this circle. How our walks without judgment. If you couldn't do it at that moment, you don't yell at me because I couldn't do it then because you did it before. You just help push me along. Like, look, I'm here to support you till you get there.
Yeah.
Right.
That's all
and
it
I'll
is.
say,
Because
if your lips ashy, I'm gonna hand you a chapstick.
right. I'm gonna say this and I'm gonna get off. So what you all were saying, especially you, Blue, about your home and your space, because your space is very welcoming. I've never been over there one time and felt like I need to sit in one chair and not move or touch anything, or you know what I mean. I've always felt the love from all of you. You know what I mean. That I have, of course, that I've been around, but I've always felt welcomed. And it's one of the things that one of the verses of the Bible, or one of the stories of the Bible that have been sticking out to me, especially during my time getting prepared for my church girl confession stuff, has been he left the 99 to find the one. It didn't say he left them, and then when he found the one that he beat the one up, or that when he got to the one, he was like, no, why you done gone off here somewhere and I'm over here with. It didn't say any of that. He just went. That had to make that one feel mighty special. That Jesus will walk away from all those other ones just to come get. That had to make. So I'm saying that to say this: there's always a feeling of being special when I am around you all, and I never feel like I have to hide who I am or whatever the case may be. I love Jesus, but I mean, you know, there are all different walks of life among us. I love everybody. I'm never going to beat anybody up for being who they are. So I appreciate the fact that I can come around you all and don't have to wear a mask. And I hope that when you're around me, you don't have to wear a mask around me either.
And Brianna, before you leave, let me tell you something. We love the fact that you love Jesus. That's good. And let me tell you, and before you leave, tell us about your show. I want you to plug your show. Tell us about the Church Girl Confession. Am I saying it right?
Church Girl Confessions is pretty much what we all are talking about now. I started it, God gave it to me in 2012, and the only person I told was Karen. And I didn't get the release to do it. Until last year. So I did the first event in March of last year. I'm sorry, March of this year. Lord, it felt like last year. March of this year, like literally the weekend before everything got shut down. And it was called Church Girl Confessions, the Monologues. So basically it was like the vagina monologues, only with women from different walks of life that, you know, operate in the church. Deacons, first ladies, trustees, whoever, telling their own story about things that they have gone through, because as Christians and people that are not Christians, they dehumanize us. It's almost like, well, they saved, so we know they don't do that. Or, well, I'm not saved, so how could God love me knowing that I do what I do? Not knowing that the first lady could have been out here doing something strange for a piece of change a couple of years ago. Or that the dance minister, just had an abortion two months ago. You know what I mean? It's real life stuff. We go through things. We are real people. If you cut us, we're gonna bleed. So it's just showing people that we all go through things in life, and that does not mean that God will not still love on us. That does not mean that we don't love God. Things like that. So that is just for the monologues. I am branching off to do other things. You guys will hear about them. I have a website, churchgirlconfessions.com, where I blog and talk about my personal experiences, because, again, I am an open book.
Okay.
And every now and then I go live. I recently went live on Facebook with a friend of mine, and we talked about what it's like to lose a baby and still be Christian, because, reality is I've lost a baby. We get mad. I was angry with God. It wasn't God, why would you do that? It was, God, what the hell is wrong with you? Why would you do this to me? Because people don't want to be real about the fact that we get angry with God. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's just trying to show people that we are relatable, trying to push relationship versus religion, and just trying to get us to a point where we want to learn for ourselves, not what we've been taught in church, the theatrics of it all, but really learning for ourselves so that we can learn, because we learn so much in church, but for real, how often do they teach you how to apply those things to your everyday life?
They don't.
And that's the thing, trying to get people to get to that point, because those are the things that are going to keep us, when you look back and be like, you know what, I remember when I went through this, and this is how I dealt with it. And being able to help somebody else, because we don't go through things for ourselves. We go through things to share with other people.
Okay.
So that is Church Girl Confessions.
Give us the website one more time, so the viewers in the back can hear it.
churchgirlconfessions.com, and that is the name on all social media platforms, well, except for Twitter. I can't tweet all day. I'm sorry.
I thank you for calling in. By all means, you are more than welcome to join in on the show at any given time.
I love you guys.
We love you. Thank you so much. Again, to everyone who has been viewing, this is the Kocktail Social. I am your host, Blue Waters. These are my socialites. This was a very interesting conversation. This was very, very good. I absolutely enjoyed this conversation. And no one could tell that I was absolutely fucked up. But guess what? I am. And I am. I had so many drinks today that this conversation, I am really fucked up, and I'm going to go and drink some more because I deserve it. This is a wonderful start of a wet weekend, and I hope that you grabbed your cocktail. And if you didn't grab your cocktail for this,
it's the strangest benediction I've ever heard.
If you didn't grab your cocktail for this Kocktail Social, I hope that you grab it for the next one, which will be next week at 7 p.m. I hope to see you all there. Okay, good night, kitten caboodles. And these are my socialites. Cheers.
Shit, I'm mad because my drink gone.
I left mine downstairs.
Cable, real shit is so good to see you, brother.
It's good to see everyone.
Right, he look fabulous too. Look at him. He got the golden good.